call. Just a horrible, horrible situation for them.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of TakeASide. I'm your host, Max McElroy, and we have an awesome show for you today. With all the action from a variety of sports, be sure to get on Sided.co or the Sided Debates app and post, comment, and pick your side for a chance to climb that leaderboard and win some Amazon gift cards. Users can earn points by having other people vote and comment and like each other's points. The more engagement that the post gets, the more points you earn to inch closer and get that $25 Amazon gift card. Now, switching into our first topic today, I am joined by Blake Sevenberger and Aiden Pezzold to discuss the initial college football playoff rankings. The playoff committee came out with Georgia having the overall number 1 seed, Alabama getting the number 2 seed, Michigan State getting the number 3 seed, and Oregon rounding out the top 4. However, many teams felt that people were left out of the rankings and were far too low on the list getting a playoff bid. Aiden, which team do you feel should be higher?
Well, Max, I think Oklahoma should be at least in the first 2 out, whether it be a 5 or 6. What are you, Blake?
Yeah, I think Cincy at 6 right now it's criminal. I think that's really bad. I do think Oklahoma should be top 6 right now, though, especially with Michigan State losing Saturday. But Cincy shouldn't even be, like, first 2 out. They should be 2 or 3. This is a solid football team. Cincinnati is really good. Who cares if they win close games? They beat, at the time, number 7 Notre Dame by 2 scores. When they played Indiana, they were preseason ranked, beat them by over 2 scores. Cincinnati wins big games, and they win big games big. Who cares if they beat Tulsa by 8? It doesn't matter. They're undefeated. They should get the respect they deserve, and I think it's bad that they're not there yet.
I think it's fair to say Cincinnati, they've honestly earned the right to even be ranked in the top 4. Highest by a group of 5 team in easily the past 20 years. I think they deserve their respect, but at the same time, if I'm getting it on a silver platter, an undefeated Power 5 team or an undefeated group of 5 team, I'm taking that Power 5 team all day, and especially if OU wins out the rest of the season against a tough Baylor team with a good offense and then a tough Oklahoma State team with a great defense, I think there's no debate that OU should be I think OU should be ranked higher than Cincinnati by the end of the season.
Right now, though, absolutely not. You got shut out by Kansas in the first half. I know. They ended up winning that game, fine. Also only beat Kansas State by 6, West Virginia by 3, and Nebraska by 7. Those are 3 games that they should have won by 14 or more, especially when the spread is, they can't even cover the spread. Good teams win, great teams cover. Oklahoma is neither right now. I don't care if they're undefeated. They're going to lose to Oklahoma State. I'm calling it now. Oklahoma State is a great matchup against Oklahoma. Caleb Williams, really good. Doesn't matter. Cincinnati, Desmond Ridder was a Heisman candidate at the beginning of the season. Sure, his numbers haven't been what they were last year, but he's there. They've got a really good running back. Joel Dublanco has 84 tackles through 9 games for their defense. They have a really good football team. Who cares if they don't win games big? It does not matter. I still can't get it out of my head that the committee is not giving Desmond Ridder and Luke Fickell and this Cincinnati team the respect they deserve because they're there. Last year they played in their first New Year's Six game against Georgia, who is now the number 1 team with a very similar roster to this year, and Cincinnati has almost the exact same team. And Georgia only won that game by 3 points.
But what do you think about the strength of schedule compared to OU? I think Cincinnati's strength of schedule literally playing the first 2 teams that they played were blowouts by 50 points against Mercer and Murray State. But even then, when there's OU, 5 games decided by 1 possession. They're close games, they're not winning in style by any means. But even then, neither is Cincinnati. So I think to that point, when you make such a small difference, and I really think it comes down to a group of 5 team in the Power 5 conference, I think that strength of schedule is really what sets Oklahoma apart from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think you're right. I absolutely agree. Strength of schedule is very important, and Cincinnati doesn't have that. But let's look at the teams in front of them right now. Alabama has an embarrassing loss to Texas A&M, and they only beat LSU by 6, and their head coach isn't even already said he's gone at the end of the season. They can throw in the towel and have no repercussions of it. And LSU only lost by 6. Michigan State lost to Purdue. Purdue is the upset team this year. Fine. But Michigan State probably out now.
Easily.
Oregon lost to Stanford, who is awful. And Oregon beat Ohio State. There's no way Cincinnati is lower by 5 spots than the 4 teams ahead of them.
Okay, but what about teams like Wake Forest falling off this week? We've seen Michigan, they might be in striking distance now, and with the Michigan State loss, Ohio State's really looking to peeking there at the 4 spot. What do you think about that?
I think whoever wins the Big Ten is in, especially if it's a one-loss team like Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. Whoever comes out of the East is going to win the Big Ten, and they're going to be in the playoff. It's that simple.
Do you think that one-loss Big Ten team will be ranked higher than an undefeated Cincinnati team?
That's where I draw the line, because Alabama will end up with 2 losses. There's no way they're beating Georgia in the SEC championship. If they do have it, you can be in the playoff. 2 SEC teams, fine.
Fair.
But if Alabama loses, they should not be in. And there's no way, if Cincy wins out and wins the AAC, they have to be in it. There's no way there's 3 teams better than them right now.
And this is also the reason why I think with the 4-team playoff that we have now, I think in the soon coming years we can expand that to 8. So we don't have to have this conversation, and group of 5 teams can finally get their respect. And I'll say next year Cincinnati moving to Big 12 is probably the best move for them, because then with that strength of schedule I was talking about, everything like that will just go right through the roof. And I think Cincinnati can really be a force in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think both teams that you and I are thinking right now, if they win out, I think they're both going to end up being in the playoff. I think Cincinnati should be higher. You think Oklahoma should be higher. But I think we can agree on one thing. The playoff has to expand. There's no questions about it. Cincinnati deserves to be in this situation. Oklahoma, they're getting there. It's fine. Playoffs got to expand, so we don't have to have this conversation. And the experts above us working at ESPN don't have to have this conversation, because it's an argument that shouldn't even need to be had.
I agree.
Obviously, we're excited to see how the rest of the season is going to play out. Now let's send it over to a quick break.
Have a great day. Thanks, you too.
Make someone's day. Pay it forward.
Yeah, I always just clap in this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part? It's the most complicated one.
It is. If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go. Just clapping now.
No pumps.
Nailed it.
I practiced this morning.
Mine was just 2 people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to
1,
do
2,
the
3,
end.
4.
It's just
I don't know the
Sorry.
head.
It's hard by yourself.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. For our next debate, Jack McGarr is going to be going through some of his favorite NBA betting lines for some of Monday night's matchups. Jack, take it away.
For my first bet, I love the Nets money line today. Somehow, some way, they're underdogs against the Chicago Bulls. I love the Chicago Bulls this season. Their defense is amazing. And with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine averaging 26-plus points per game, I understand why they're favored, but I think the Nets just have too much power on the offensive side of the ball. I think Harden is finally feeling himself right now, especially after those new foul rules are kind of getting him out of sorts. But Durant's putting up near 30 points per game. Harden's putting up near triple-doubles every single game now. And the Bulls' defense is going to come close to making this game close, but I think the defense is not going to be able to match up against Durant and Harden in this game. I would take the Nets money line easily in this game. That would be probably my lock of the night. In my next game, I love the Warriors -3.5 against the Atlanta Hawks. I do know the Atlanta Hawks are at home, but the Golden State Warriors are arguably the best team, and I think honestly the best team in the league. With Stephen Curry not even playing at his true 100% potential, and Klay Thompson not even being in the roster, I think Jordan Poole has really shown what he can do. And I think Gary Payton II has also shown why he deserves to be on that team with his defensive presence. The Warriors are great against the spread. Atlanta is not. I mean, just by that stat alone, the Warriors should be taken in this game, and the Warriors are really good on the offensive side of the ball and rank number 1 on defense. I think the Warriors cover this easily, and I think they win by close to 10 points. I love the Kings' money line in this game. I don't love the Phoenix Suns, especially against the spread this season. They are second or third worst against the spread, only to the Lakers. The Kings are only 5-5 against the spread, but the Kings have looked really good this season with Harrison Barnes looking almost like an all-star this season. De'Aaron Fox hasn't even really helped this team much at all, and they're still finding a way to win games and at least cover the spread. I think the Kings win easily in this one. The Suns are maybe missing DeAndre Ayton in this game, and I don't think Devin Booker and Chris Paul look as good as they were last year. I think the Kings cover this and win the game outright. I love the Hornets tonight. The Lakers are missing LeBron and possibly AD. I'm hearing that he has a finger injury that he will likely miss tonight's game and possibly a few more. The Hornets have looked really good this season with LaMelo and Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges looks like an MVP candidate this year right now. Gordon Hayward also looks really good as a third piece on that team. I think really, even though they're young, I think they've looked really good and have been able to win a couple games and have definitely been able to go at least 5-5, 5-6 against the spread. The Lakers have not shown anything that I can trust them with, especially missing LeBron and AD tonight. Russell Westbrook being the leader of that team, I don't really see how they win the game, and they're somehow favored. I would take the Hornets in a heartbeat. And I love the Heat today. They're playing the Nuggets, and they're only favored by 1.5. The Heat are the best team against the spread at 7-2, with their only losses against the spread being their 2 losses on the season. Jimmy Butler looks like the MVP of the league right now. Lowry's finally finding his footing against the team, and Bam Adebayo looks like a defensive player of the year. And they have possible 6th man of the year, Tyler Hero, all on one team. Their defense is immaculate this season. Denver is missing Michael Porter Jr. tonight, and with Jokic being really the only man on that roster, I know he looks like an MVP this year, and he's doing so much for the Denver Nuggets, but that team looks disastrous the moment he steps off the court. I think the Heat win, and I think, again, they almost win by double digits in this one. I love the Knicks money line in this one. I did like the 76ers to cover the spread, but it was just announced that Joel Embiid has COVID and will not play in this game and will not play for about 1 or 2 weeks. They're now missing Embiid, Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, and of course Ben Simmons. That's a lot of players and big name players to be missing on that team. I think this game will be really close, and I think the Knicks are going to end up winning this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philly kept this really close. That's why I'm taking the Knicks money line and not the spread in this game. And for my last pick, Monday Night Football, I know it's not NBA, but I do think the Bears will actually take the money line and win against the Steelers tonight. I don't see a lot from either team on the offensive side of the ball, and I think the defenses are very evenly matched, but I think the Bears need this one, and I think the Bears are going to end up playing with a lot more heart, and I think they're going to end up taking this one. But those are my picks for the night, and let's win some money. And then we'll send it back to Max.
Thanks, Jack. The major bet that I would make tonight is hammer the Knicks money line. As Jack said, with Joel Embiid just being announced that he is out, I think that is easy money right there. But we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with some KU basketball.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Have a nice day. You too. Have a great day. Thanks, you too.
Make someone's day. Pay it forward.
For our third and final debate, we are going to be talking some KU hoops. With the season kickoff starting on Tuesday against Michigan State, we at TakeASide are posing the question, if Kansas is going to win a national championship, who is the player that will carry them to a title? I'm joined by Isabel Scarborough and Mitchell Jones to discuss which player is going to be the standout. Mitch, let's start with you.
All right, so this season I think I'm probably going to be taking Remy Martin. He's like the newest addition to KU hoops, and I think just looking at him in that exhibition game with Emporia State, he just had the most energy out on that court.
Okay, I see you taking the new to KU. I'm going to go with David McCormack. He's a senior, and of course, if you're coming close to the last year of playing, you're going to ball out and you're going to try to bring your team to a championship.
Yeah, in his senior year, he's definitely going to be trying his hardest to bring us there, but Martin's coming from Arizona State, and I think you're probably like average KU fan, doesn't know him too well, know of him much, like how they would with McCormack since he's been here for a few years. So then I think what he's wanting to do, and I think I saw it in that game, like his first game in Allen Fieldhouse with the Jayhawk jersey on, right? He's going to try and prove to all the fans, all the students that he's here to make a stand, to make a name for himself in a KU uniform.
I agree with that. You bring a lot. You have, of course, the 16-3 back in the Allen Fieldhouse, so he's going to want to make the crowd loud and everything. But we're talking about the first game. David McCormack, he does have an over 50% on field goals. His rebounds are at 6. His point average is 13. Right now, with his position that he is in, he is doing a good job. And I think that with how he's playing right now, it's going to help all the other players also do just as good.
Yeah, because with that first game, so you had like the three big scorers. You had Ochai, he had the most with 17. McCormack had 16, and then you had Martin right there, he had 15. So the three of them right there, they had the most, like, all in the same range, right? And like Ochai and McCormack, they've been here for a while, so everybody knows them. And then, you have the new guy coming right up there. And like when he was in Arizona State, he was 3-time All Big 12 or Pac-12, sorry. And I think he has the skills. That's why he's here, and he's just gonna do his most to prove it to everybody. And like I remember leaving that game thinking that. Just describing him like kind of like a jackrabbit. Like he was everywhere. He had so much energy. He was running up the court. He got steals. He got fast breaks. He was going on defense, offense, everything. He was everywhere all at once. I think, if you're going to talk about an it factor, you want that person who's new, who's doing everything that they can, who has like the most energy. And I think in that game, he was clear that he had the most energy out there.
You bring some good points. Of course, the new versus the old is the big argument here. Also, David's height, he's 6'10". Of course, basketball, you all have big players. That's the whole sport. But him standing at 6'10", he's still going to be above the average of the players. And with him being a forward, he can use that height, which will help him during the entire game.
Yeah, and I think, again, if you're going to bring up height, like Remy Martin's one of the shortest guys on that team. So, like, if we're having this conversation between the two of them, we're discussing height, like, that's a pretty big deal if they're that much of a difference. Like, yeah, McCormack's going to be a big man. He's scoring points. He'll be down in the paint the whole time and probably pretty much overpower almost anybody he can. And it's Remy's speed who's he's just going to overpower the best way he can and get past people.
Of course, now you can't. Everybody on KU basketball is a great player. They're on KU basketball
I mean,
for a reason.
it's easy. That's known.
I think it's easy to say that they're both going to be good. But to a championship, I think KU has a very good possibility with their starting and who they're with, especially in the game that we just saw. Everyone on that, they did great. Everyone on the court did great, and I think we can continue to do great.
Right, exactly.
That is all the time we have for today, and we are going to give it back to Max.
And there's a lot of hype around campus about Kansas basketball this year. One player to watch out for that wasn't mentioned is Ochai Agbaji. Of course, he's been here for a long time. He's an athletic freak, and I think he could be big going into March and looking for a national championship for Kansas. But that wraps it up for our show. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, be sure to create an account to post, comment, and like on other people's debates, as well as follow us on Twitter at TakeASideKU. Basically, on our Twitter, we post clips from the shows, and then also on our Instagram, we are going to be doing some different Instagram lives for different debates, as well as we post some of our content there. Thank you so much for watching, and for all of us here at TakeASide, we'll see you next week.